In view of the crippling economic crisis in Pakistan, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's Austerity Committee has recommended Pakistan's mission to cut costs. Now, the Austerity Committee has asked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for a plan within the next 2 weeks. The Austerity Committee has also recommended that the expenditure of the Pakistani embassies abroad should be reduced by about 15%. And to reduce the expenditure, the committee has suggested that some missions should be closed, while at other missions, officers and staff should be reduced. This comes as the Pakistani economy is struggling to cope with the declining forex reserves, rising inflation and political instability. Pakistan was banking heavily on the deal with the International Monetary Fund to fructify, but for now, the crucial $1.1 billion deal has eluded the country. After 10 days of face-to-face discussions in Islamabad, Pakistan and the IMF could not reach a conclusion. The talks are scheduled to resume online next week. However, Pakistan's Finance Minister Ishaq Dar has said that the country has agreed with the IMF on the conditions to release about $1.1 billion in terms of critical funding. He's also claimed that the payout was delayed due to routine procedures.
हम कोशिश करेंगे इंशाल्लाह कि पाकिस्तान दूसरी दफा अपनी तारीख में IMF का प्रोग्राम मुकम्मल करे और इंशाल्लाह उसी स्पिरिट के साथ और सॉवरेन कमिटमेंट को सामने रखते हुए हमने ये सारा प्रोसेस जो है वो मुकम्मल किया है.
The payment of funds, which is part of a $6.5 billion IMF bailout that Pakistan signed in 2019, has been stalled since last December. The IMF funding is crucial for the country's economy, which is facing a balance of payments crisis. With foreign exchange reserves dipping to less than 3 weeks of import cover. Meanwhile, Moody's Investors Services has said that Pakistan's government liquidity and external vulnerability risks are elevated. The Moody's has said that these remain considerable risks and around Pakistan's ability to secure the required financing to fully meet its needs for the next few years. And our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik has been tracking the story very closely for us and has sent us this report. Listen in.
Each passing day in Pakistan is a problem on the economic front, and this time it's to do with diplomacy as well. The Pakistani Prime Minister's National Austerity Committee has recommended to the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs that it needs to cut down the operations of the ministry. It needs to go into a cost-cutting measure, and therefore it has recommended a 15% cut down in the budget of the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and in that regards, it has recommended to shut down some missions, to cut down on diplomats and diplomatic staff in other countries as well. And they've also asked the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Pakistani Prime Minister Office in its letter has asked a plan to be presented before the Prime Minister in 2 weeks' time. Now, it is pertinent to mention that Pakistan currently has 130 embassies and consulates across the world, and therefore the Pakistani Minister of Foreign Affairs has been saying by time and again, by and large, that they already tend to work under minimum capacity, both when it comes to economic side and manpower. So therefore, this move, if it happens, would be very, very interesting. Anas Malik in Islamabad, Pakistan for WION World is One.
And also earlier, I had spoken with Dr. Jameel Ahmed Khan, who was Pakistan's former ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, and this is what he had to say.
Well, 15% or even 10% or even 5%, any austerity measure would definitely have an impact on the overall foreign exchange reserve, because all the missions are sent in foreign exchange with rupee cover here, but basically foreign exchange is sent to all the missions. And wherever foreign exchange are involved, and even within the domestic expenditure, the government now is the stage that they should, and they are, doing that austerity measures, and they should, as a matter of fact. And 15%, I've been in about 5 different embassies myself as a head of mission, so I know that it's very conveniently, it's possible without compromising the operational work.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.